game number 2, Darkside. Gunjin, they do not want to see that Tristana back on the Rift. That's going to be the first champion taken off of the board, followed by Dr. Mundo.
Yeah, and again, the pentakill, they don't want to see it happen again. Udyr is gonna get banned out. A lot of homeless tanks being banned out. Udyr on the left side, Dr. Mundo on the right side. We're gonna see again the Seraphine ban for the side of Darkside.
Fair enough.
Don't like singing either. Don't like pentakillers. Don't like homeless people that run Bear Slappy, and don't like Seraphine singing superstars. What a ban from Darkside. I want to see what they do end up picking for this first round. They have a lot of options open. Again, the rel was super important for the side of Omega Gaming. There were to build that 7-1 lead. Oh, they're gonna take away the Hecarim. I really like this pick from the side of Darkside.
Do you want to elaborate, Gunjin? Because I have some thoughts of my own. I'm thinking, like, we really saw how well Zongi was able to path around the map, and at least in the early game, this is going to give him a lot more engaged possibilities versus that Olaf pick. The Kindred and the Karma are going to be locked in response. I think this is going to be Fallen Artemis's Kindred. That's a big comfort pick for him. Darkside might have to lean away from this dive comp.
You mentioned it. Zongi had such great pathing in terms of just overall cycling his camps, making sure he's always up on levels, even though he was 0-3. So I like the Hecarim pick because it does kind of give them that power pick in the jungle. And we did see, especially in matches that Darkside do end up winning, it is usually the Zongi carry. He is the person that plays the Hecarims, the Kazakhs, the Canes. So I like the takeaway. It takes away maybe a comfort pick for Fallen, and it just brings a strong power scaling pick for the side of Darkside. Over in terms of the Omega Gaming response, the Kindred and Karma, it is just comfort. I've seen this before. Fallen Artemis' Kindred. People will say Fallen Artemis is a mechanical player, but when he plays the Kindred, it always feels like he's like 11-0-6. He's just dominating the map. He plays it super well. It's just a comfort pick for him, so I like the takeaway. And the Karma does end up kind of being able to automate this Kindred. Ooh, Xayah.
Oh. Man, I wish I blurred it out, because now I might be a little fake for saying I wanted to see the Xayah pick, but I really think it's the perfect ADC to go into what Darkside has picked so far. So we've seen with the second phase of picks on this blue side composition for Darkside, they have pretty much hard committed into this dive style composition, right? They've got the Kai'Sa, they've got the Leona locked in, and you know what ADC is able to just avoid all of that, Gunjin? Xayah. Featherstorm right in as the engage is coming in. You're not going to have to worry about a thing. And not only that, it is a really good lane matchup into the Kai'Sa. So Omega Gaming, I really think, getting everything they want so far in this draft to pretty much counter what Darkside's wanting to do.
Xayah, when the trifecta of top tier AD carries was the Kai'Sa, Xayah's, Xayah was always considered some sort of a little bit of a Kai'Sa counter, even though Kai'Sa is so self-sufficient. It does a lot of work into the Hecarim pick and the Leona pick. You already mentioned it, so I like the pick. The flexibility of the Karma is going to also be able to kind of change out how this bot lane does want to be played, but I would assume it's probably going to be that Xayah Karma in the bot lane, try and bully out the Kai'Sa Leona, try to keep the Xayah safe as the game kind of scales in. We do see, again, mid lane bans for the side of Darkside. They don't want to see Princeton on the Syndra again, and neither is Galio. Ooh, the Alistar, so it's going to be Karma mid. Oh, they're going for it. Omega Gaming is going for it here.
Or Karma top.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, I mean, Simulcrum, we actually saw very interestingly. I wonder if Coach is going to be subbing in. Me and Gunjin not in the game lobby, so we'll have to see once the client draft is loaded up whether which player for Darkside is going to be up in that top lane. Now Darkside know, though, it's going to be a Karma in the top lane, and they're going to try to add some scaling to their composition. I don't mind this Kale pick at all, Gunjin. I think this is a solid stylistic switch up, because now they don't just have dive tools, they do have this kind of late game Kale scaling that they can play around.
The Lissandra Kale lock-in. This is getting really spicy by the side of Darkside. They're going full dive comp at this point, because you have so much engaged from Lissandra, Leona, and the Hecarim. You have Kale helping you dive in, Kai'Sa who can dive in herself. So a lot of scaling, a lot of engage, and they're gonna.
They thought it was Karma top.
Yeah,
it's not.
So it's gonna be the.
It's not. It's a trap.
Simulc. Oh my God, Simulcrum's Renekton. Weak side top lane, they say. Oh no. He's picking the Renekton. I do want to say, as much as, again, Renekton is a lane bully, and I'm not going to act like he's not. I've gotten a quest to learn mid lane and top lane. My goal is to make it to platinum being a mid and top laner. I have realized Kayle is not as weak of a laner as everyone thinks she is. She does do a lot of work. She, especially as level 6 kind of turns around, that matchup kind of turns into a little bit of an even matchup and kind of favor just depending on which jungler is going to get the focus. So in terms of just overall game plan, I like what both teams have built. Omega Gaming are going to kind of opt back into that Fallen Artemis on Kindred. Let's augment him with the Karma mid lane, and then let's just build some overall good laners. You know, he has engage in the top lane. He can try to camp that side. He can engage in the bot lane with Xayah Alistar, or he can just sit mid, farm up, have Karma constantly at his beck and call to make sure that he can never get invaded on by the Hecarim and the Lissandra. On the backside, though, I think that this mid lane and jungle 2v2 is going to be so important, because if Hecarim, Lissandra get any sort of mid lane control, they're going to run it down top. They're going to 4-man bot lane. There's a lot of engage. There's a lot of strong skirmishing from the side of Darkside. So I really like that they're... Again, I don't know if they saw it, but from our end, Zongi had a really good game 1, even though the scoreline didn't reflect it. But if you help build around this strong side jungler, maybe that's the way that Darkside take this game too.
Yeah, we are going to be loaded up into the client draft. So we see Stubby is back in the top lane for Darkside. And something I've been kind of mulling over as we've had this discussion, Gungeon, is I wonder if Coach is just going to be given the Kayle and kind of match wherever the Karma goes. Because I feel like the Kayle, you would rather have Kayle into Karma and Lissandra into Renekton versus the other way around. And so we know Coach can very well probably play this Kayle. He was a top laner for Darkside through the first 6 weeks of mid-league play. Could maybe lock that in. And Lissandra top, you know, long time ago was a champion to go up in the top lane. But it does look like Darkside are going to go for the Kayle into the Renekton, in the Lissandra into the Karma. Mac over here overthinking it a tad bit too much, perhaps.
You're thinking you're trying to connect all the pieces. You're like connecting the dots. You're like, Coach used to play top lane before Kayle. You had the whiteboard behind you. It was a good thought. I definitely agree with it. I think that the Kayle should try to opt in to that Karma matchup. So I do expect Stubby to try to follow around wherever Princeton does end up going. But and this was something that wasn't mentioned because there wasn't really kills happening. Stubby had a really good game number 1. His laning was really strong for the side of Darkside. I know me and you were talking about as we were watching the game that he was really messing up Simulcrum in the laning phase. And obviously, as much as a Poppy can mess up a Malphite in the tank v tank matchup, but Stubby showed some kind of flashes of having really good laning. So if this Kayle could kind of take off, and you give it into the hands of your substitute, he's coming in. Darkside has to make playoffs. What a storyline right there, Mac. It kind of writes itself. The book is writing itself. Stubby, the last-minute sub. He's being brought in for the playoff push. He gets given the Kayle. It's all up to you, kid. Take us home. I'm writing the soap opera already.
We'll have to see. I really, just because of how strong the top side is early on for Omega Gaming Unleashed, Simulcrum may not have been the player they really wanted to play through in that game number 1, putting him on the Malphite. But you've gotten him on the Renekton now, and if he does end up laning into the Kayle, I feel like there's no way Fallen Artemis just doesn't camp the top side of the map.
Yeah. It's going to be... Fallen Artemis knows exactly who to target if they end up getting the Kayle into the Renekton matchup. I think the big thing that's going to happen is that, and we saw it in game 1, is going to be the movement of these supports. Bot lane, as much as the Leona Kaisa and the Alistar Xayah, you look to be like, oh, they're going to 2v2, they're going to go at each other. If they're going to kind of stick with the game plans we saw in game number 1, Rice and the sub were constantly moving around. constantly moving with their junglers. And I feel like game number 2 kind of has that same flavor to it because, again, if you can get Zongi ahead and if you can get him to invade and kind of keep Fallen Artemis time, that game plan kind of goes by the wayside. And for the same side for Omega Gaming, you have to try to keep this Kindred alive because you've built a primarily double AD comp with Simulacrum like dealing some damage as the team fights go on. So if you let Fallen Artemis fall too far behind, it's kind of GG.
The Kindred in the jungle. Artemis has been an absolute sniper with the arrows so far in the season every time he's gotten this Kindred pick. Certainly the player on the side of Omega Gaming Unleashed to keep your eyes on as he tries to make things happen for the team, just like he usually does. This is a jungler, as we were kind of watching him path throughout that first game, Gunjan, kind of as we talked about earlier. He's someone who really does like to stick with the team in going against this dive composition. Having the Lamb's Respite available for whatever your carries need it is certainly going to be valuable. But over on the side of Darkside, do you think the burden of execution only falls on Stubby's Kale up in the top lane, or what else are you kind of looking for Darkside to make some big plays happen to really contest with Omega Gaming on perhaps more even grounding in this game too?
I think the burden of execution is definitely going to be on Stubby if they end up getting the Kale into the Renekton matchup. The other big thing that I'm going to want to watch is to see how Coach's Lysandra gets these TP flanks off. It's going to be really hard to try to run through an Alistar, run in front to back onto a Karma. But if they can get Coach and they can get Zongi into situations where they can kind of come from behind, flank, and really burst out, Princeton's going to be the main target. Obviously, Foreign Artemis has that Kindred ulti. If they can burst him out, they will. But Princeton's really the one that's kind of augmenting his entire team, keeping them safe, keeping them alive so that they can kind of dish out that consistent amount of damage. So I want to see how Coach really plays out the game number 2 because he had a really good game number 1. He played it safe. It's just at the end of the day, it's really hard to avoid Malphite, Hecarim, Rel jumping on you. At the end of the day, he ended up falling, but he had a good game number 1, and I want to see how he ends up using the Lysandra. It's a definitely different style than what we saw in game number 1, where it's more of him initiating the plays and wanting to see what Omega Game kind of respond with.
Well, it's going to be an exciting match number 2 for this best of 2 series. Darkside trying to hang on to their playoff hopes as they hope to even up this series. And Omega Gaming Unleashed, Gunjan, wanting to cement themselves as playoff contenders. Ladies and gentlemen, don't click out of that browser. Idea PC and Stonefield are going to be right back on the mic on the Rift for game number 2. We'll be back in just a bit.
I'm bad at pretending, you know I'll be true. Sunday mornings and midnight lights, turning to songs that you watch me write. Stole your
Welcome back, everybody. Week 8 Excellency Mid-League here, and I have the Idea PC, joined by Stonefeld here for game number 2 of Omega Gaming Unleashed, up against Darkside here. Darkside, they struggled. Straight up. Plain simple. Cannot beat around the bush any way whatsoever, but here in game number 2, they're going to be trying to take this series to a 1-1 and get them some points to contend for that sixth place playoff spot. Try to say that one 5 times fast, Twitch chat. I dare you. But yeah, level 1 invade here. Just going to come out, place some vision down there onto the buffs. And nice start here for Omega Gaming Unleashed, trying to get some of that advanced vision.
Yep, tracking the junglers here early. And I really like what Darkside are doing. They said, you can play Hecarim, well, so can we. They've locked it in. I'm interested to see if the build is to say. I'm interested to see how this game goes. But I also like the draft here from Omega Gaming Unleashed. Taking some counter engage, some anti-dive, if you will, with the Lamb's Respite from Kindred. You're going to get a lot of healing likely out of the Karma in the mid lane as well. And I think that, again, we should have another, fighting game. Let's see if one team, just like last game, one team could snowball a lead to victory, which is kind of what we saw.
Yeah, this is a little bit cheeky here from the Alistar. Actually going to be able to place himself down a ward deep into the Raptors there. And still get back down into the lane, I think, on time, possibly. So, might miss out on a little bit of the CS there down towards the bottom side, but should relatively be okay. You do see the missing pings coming out. I do think that is kind of funny, but they're going to be able to track this Hecarim here pretty early, and I have to say this is something that Omega Gaming Unleashed did really, really well in game number 1.
Yep, tracking the jungler is just so key in all of these games because you need to know which lanes can push and which lanes can't. It really changes how you can play a laning phase, and particularly with the sub missing out on some of the CS. As we see, the early level 2s are coming in for the side of Darkside here, and they know that their Hecarim is pathing toward them, and the Kindred is pathing toward the top side.
Yep, absolutely there. And, that's always something that I do tell my teams is if your jungler is on the opposite side of the map, just go out and assume that the enemy jungler is probably on your side of the map and you are right in prime for ganking. So, adjustment here in the sub, going to play relatively safe down here towards this bottom side. Alistar can be able to kind of set up the disengages as appropriate.
The Kindred just popped over used the blast cone there, and they're going to set up a dive on the Kale. I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but this is how you beat a Kale in the early game.
Yep, right here. Going to get stunned up under the tower there. One tower shot. Oh my goodness, Simulacrum. Literally, I'm not kidding you. He had 10 HP. I saw it count down. 10 HP there on the Renekton. Able to barely make that one happen. Level 3 early tower dive coming out here from Omega Gaming Unleashed. And the dives coming in here hot and heavy against Stubby. But you're absolutely right, Stone. You have to be able to delay that level 16 from the Kale and that power spike. That will come up. I do like to see it now coming out. But Songy going to take a little bit of revenge. That's going to be the flash coming out. And Adjustment going to be able to dodge that one nice and easy. Somewhat of a successful gank. You are able to pick yourself up the summoner spell early. But Coach here going to take maybe an unfavorable trade in the mid lane. Ooh, going to be knocked down. But sub 200 HP. Going to have to pop the potion there to kind of kick this one off. But a little bit of bot prio. Going to go in favor of Darkside here. Early Scuttle Crab on the bottom side going to be picked up. And Hecarim trying to place some wards of his own here inside of the Omega Gaming Unleashed jungle.
Yep, the junglers are sort of telling me a story here, and they're saying that we're going to play on opposite sides of the map. The Kindred's going to try and dive the Kale over and over again, and the Hecarim is going to try and make cross-map plays to see if they can get their bottom lane ahead. And the bottom lane here for Darkside can become this sort of bridge with Kai'Sa and Leona that can get that Kale into a late game position to really carry at 30, 35 minutes. So here we go again on the top side with the Kindred looking for a gank. You should, if a Kale is ever in this game, you should gank before she can hit level 6. Also of note, the Kindred lost the Mark RNG. It spawned on the bottom Scuttle Crab, and Hecarim was able to deny that one.
Yeah, I do like this though. The focus and Honestly, Darkside here, they know they have kind of maybe this weak Kale up towards the top side, and Omega Gaming Unleashed recognizes that too. So playing up towards the top side of the map there, and just putting some constant pressure, I think, is very, very good. Should be able to net a small CS lead here early for the Renekton, which will feel good, and especially with that assist to his name as well. But here towards the mid lane, actually, Coach going to be going on forward there with the Claw, and Princeton just slowly beating him down here, whacking him away. Flash, follow. That's going to be the root, and that's going to be a kill. Going on over to Princeton. Pot will keep him alive as the minions try to beat him away. But Zongi says, not in my mid lane. Here going to come down and around, but is going to get rooted up. Princeton going to be able to get himself away. Sherlock Holmes, what happened?
The mantra W coming through for the Karma there gives tons of healing. And really, really well played. Yeah. From the side of Princeton. We have another dive.
Stubby just going to go down almost immediately. Feels really, really bad right now. Here, Stubby going to be down. 2 deaths here in the early game. 2 kills on the Kindred. Going to feel really, really, really good. And now Fallen Artemis going to be sitting with the 1 stack. So he was able to get 1 stack there for this kill earlier in the game. But yeah, hopefully he can try and get some more of those stacks. He does want to be able to, get up to obviously to 4 stacks, get a little bit of that range increase. Will feel really, really good when against playing against. Oh, hold on, sub. Almost an outplay, but Rice Evermeal just gonna Zenith Blade right on back.
I like the idea from Sub there to get the kill, but Leona's one of the tankiest champions in the game at this point. That's why she's so popular in competitive play. So that one's not going to work out for you. But now we see Hecarim is on the top side of the map, supporting this kill a little bit. Yeah. Maybe trying to make sure that wave can crash.
Yeah, absolutely.
As level 6 comes through.
Stubby. It's going to feel a little bit better in the lane. But once again, Kindred just hovering up towards the top side, making sure that it is very, very dark. Stubby now going to get caught out one more time. He's going to get rooted up, sliced in, dice, Fallen Artemis. Make it 3 here, pre 7.5 minutes. Come on, Artemis, leave the man alone.
Yeah, Artemis is just saying, you picked Kale in the wrong game, my friend. I'm going to be in your lane all day long. Kale had the ultimate there and didn't even burn it, probably thinking that she was dead anyway. And now we see Fallen Artemis taking this advantage on the top lane and saying, nope, this is not your jungle.
Oh, the failed flash there. Smolcrum going to be able to pick himself up a kill. Yes, they exchanged the Cloud Dragon for it, but right now, Fallen Artemis having a run through this jungle, not only in game number 1, but also now in game number 2. Really, really difficult here for Stubby so far as well. I mean, he's sitting with 27 CS, and now Zongi here in the mid lane trying to take advantage of Princeton. Nice chain CC there. Zongi going to be able to pick himself up a kill in the mid lane, and this feels bad. The sub now also up here. Hex Flash maybe going to come over the wall. No, not quite just yet. But Kale can't even walk up here to be able to challenge for her waves. Fallen Artemis going to be able to invade, grab himself the blue buff. They'll take the Blast Cone right on out. And right now looking pretty doomed for Kale, at least here in the early stage of the game. Nice stun there. Chain the CC on up. Zongi now going to be sub 100 HP. He's going to get taken out as the sub claims that one for his name. Put the support on the board, ladies and gentlemen. Give him the kill. But Omega Gaming Unleashed just rolling around here with this 3-man death squad of the Renekton, Kindred, and Alistair. Looking very, very dangerous.
Yeah, Stubby on the top side of the map, just trying to close this, 30 CS deficit that's growing. Leona here for a little bit of support. Hecarim nowhere to be found on this side of the map, so let's see if Leona is going to stay up here and just let the old Scratch try and farm in the bottom lane. Maybe trying to match the roam here from the sub who is up here, claiming kills and diving under turrets and such.
And this actually really sucks too, because the wave is in a spot right now where he could. Well, he could, but he did not. Freeze it if he did want to. Actually, probably still can. Smolcrum, though, going to be about 300 HP. But, once again, Fallen Artemis going to be making his visit up towards the top side of the map. That's going to be the Dominus pop here by Smolcrum, trying to keep himself a little bit more tanky. Stubby, though, trying to go for the kill, but he's going to get taken out by Fallen Artemis. And now the roam here from Princeton. Rice Evermeal in some trouble. Going to get slowed and rooted up, and the kill going to be going on over for Fallen Artemis. Make it a double. Now 5-0-2 here on the Kindred. Give him those stacks, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be his 4th of the game. Kindred is online.
Yeah, Kindred absolutely 100% online here. Little terrifying if I do say so myself. A 5-0-2 Kindred with a 500 gold bounty, just constantly killing your top laner over and over again. It feels bad. But, Kale isn't out of this game yet. This has happened to players in competitive matches before. You get shut down early. Let's see if Darkside can mount some sort of stalling tactic to see if we can get some farm back on this kill, some gold under her belt. I'd love to see that, so she has a fighting chance in these mid-game team fights.
Absolutely. VADV there with the jokes in the chat. Epic asks, how many Kindred marks? 48. I mean, it could be 48 if you had the time and the kills, but now the engage going to be coming down here in the bottom lane, but both these tanky supports just kind of beating each other in the face early. Not a whole lot really happens, even though Rice Every Meal does get the Zenith Blade onto adjustment. The problem is here, though, is it's pretty much level advantages for every single one of these Omega Gaming members. That's going to be the Flare coming on out. Old Scratch going to be trying to get some autos now, and Zongi with the knockback here. Alistar in a row spot. Nice route, though, coming out from adjustment as he flashes right on out, trying to get himself to safety. Will be tanky enough as the ultimate is popped. You got to love it. Unbreakable Will keeping you very, very safe there, cleansing those disabling effects and giving him that reduced damage. Feels really, really nice when you get engaged on by 3 different members.
Yeah, the Unbreakable Will allows the Alistar to just take a little stroll there through 3 of the enemy champions and not really care about it. Meanwhile, Adjustment is sitting at level 8 because the sub was roaming for so much time toward the top side of the map that Adjustment was just collecting all of this farm. And Darkside wasn't really able to take advantage of that. No dive coming down to Adjustment, taking on full HP. Meanwhile, Kale in the top lane, still sitting at that level 7, still trying to claw back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't think we mentioned it, but Rift Herald did go the way of Omega Gaming Unleashed, so Fallen Artemis, honestly, with how strong this jungler is pretty much going to be able to take whatever he wants here. The sub trying to bait the fight there from Rice Evermeal and Zongi, but they are wise enough to back on away there. They do not know where that Kindred is at the start of that Alistar engage, so you just have to be so careful. I mean, she's already sitting with a completed Gale Force. We'll actually be able to complete her tier 2 boots here shortly as she's sitting on about 700 gold. So right now, Fallen Armor is very, very, very strong and kind of a scary champion, if I'm being honest with you. Could be looking down here towards the bottom side of the map, going to clear out this wave, and maybe looking to try and knock down some plates on this tower with the Herald.
Yeah, and as we see a TP coming in.
Yep, teleports now coming in. Now multiple teleports actually coming in. That's going to be the Rams respite, keeping Fallen Artemis alive as he's the first one engaged on in the fight. He will go down, though, as Coach is able to pick up the kill and the shutdown, but Simulacrum now, big old tanky boy there, trying on the back line, trying to make it happen. Alistar, though, ooh, huge, though, as it comes on through. Simulacrum able to rip and tear as Adjustment able to pick up the last hits. What a fight here. Coming out from Omega Gaming Unleashed, teleports and all expended. Simulacrum, though, being very aggressive. Taking Coach underneath his tower. Oh, my goodness.
Yep, Darkside trying to respond to the Rift Herald play there. And Omega Gaming Unleashed says, you're not getting away with this one. The Simulacrum just dashes in, slams 2 people with the Renekton damage, gets a ton of healing off, and is playing very, very aggressive. Simulacrum knows that this matchup, this early game comes down to him, getting something out of it. You pick an early game champion like Renekton, and you need to let your team know that you can get them to that mid game, get them to that late game. Meanwhile, the Kindred did go down in that fight. I believe Lysandra picking up the shutdown gold there. So not necessarily out of this game just yet. Yes, Kindred is scary. Yes, Omega Game Unleashed is ahead, but yeah, you still have some chances.
Yeah, but with Fallen Artemis being up here towards the top side of the map, Mountain Dragon gonna go over on into the hands of Darkside. Not that I would be really too concerned about it. Fallen Artemis can pretty much just show up wherever he does want to go and make an impact on the map. So 3rd Drake, 4th Drake, I do expect him to make his way downtown for that dragon. But Infernal Dragon now on the table, and maybe this is just part of the grand old plan along, for the whole time. Omega Gaming Unleashed, they said, all right, we're going to get you super far ahead, Fallen Artemis, and then we're just going to stack 4 Infernal Dragons on top of it to make you this killing machine.
Yeah, and You see the Kale again on the top side of this map, just getting zoned off the CS. I'd like to see Darkside changing up their lane assignments, putting this Kale somewhere where she can actually get some farm, some free farm even, maybe rotating the bottom lane to mid. Kai'Sa, the old scratch on Kai'Sa's also having a little bit of a hard time farming this game. And I'd like to see them change up some lane assignments here to see if they can get their carries back in the game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they are actually able to make that happen. But right now, Fallen Armor is having a run of it through the jungle. Zongi, yeah, has the CS lead here, but he hasn't really been able to do much. You can't countergate the Kindred who is this fed quite effectively if it is just kind of a position where you are in a 2v2. You do need multiple members there on top of her, and then even then, the Lamb's Respite could come on out. The sub, though, in kind of an interesting position here. Should be fine, but maybe not now. Actually going to get veered backwards here. The sub going to have to force the flash out. And, old scratch going to go in, but not quite able to really find the damage with the Cathian Rain. So, ultimate's going to be shaken down there for both the support and the AD carry. And now Fallen Arm is going to get a little bit of revenge. Flash forward now coming on out, trying to get the attack down, but... yeah, even 3 members are not willing to take on Fallen Artemis. I mean, had to blow out the solar flare there from the Leona to just try and get the slow. Obviously was looking for the stun to try and make sure that Fallen Artemis did not finish off Zongi. But first towers in the bottom lane, gonna go on down to Omega Gaming Unleashed, and all the tier 1s now actually down with Princeton being able to take the mid lane.
Omega Gaming just has so much pressure right now. Every single lane they can push in, they can bring Fallen Artemis in, hovering in the jungle to any of those lanes, and you just see him pushing the entire, 3-stack squad of Darkside off of this first turret. Meanwhile, Renekton is in the top side, just pressuring this Kale. And this is what you're going to get if you're not going to switch up your lane matchups. You're just going to let the Kale keep running into the Renekton. The Renekton is eventually going to be able to, dive her and at least keep putting pressure on the map. And if they don't do something, they're just going to keep bleeding gold, which is not what I want to see. We want to see good League of Legends. We want to see a good fight here. So let's look for them to make a play. Maybe they're waiting for their teleports to come back up. We did see them make that teleport play in the last fight. And so maybe, teleports are about to come off cooldown. Maybe we see another fight around an objective or even a tower.
Yep, Kindred going to be up towards the top side here, picking up another Rift Herald at her leisure. Pretty much can do whatever she wants. And, previously there was just so much vision actually sitting inside of the jungle. With that being said, Princeton actually going to get caught out here, going to get feared, going to get taken down. The shield can only do so much. Can it save him? No, it cannot. The sub trying to do it there with the headbutt pulverized, but the disengage now coming on out. It's still 4 members. I mean, it's 4 members of this Darkside squad that isn't even able to kind of continue to push because they know that Kindred is there. She's just so absolutely strong. And when you back that up with a front line that comes out from this Renekton and from this Alistar, it makes it really, really hard to actually get any access to her to try and burst her down. Unfortunately, these other champions just kind of get headbutted out by the Alistar. Yeah, I mean, possibly you could see it towards the later stages of the game where Hecarim or maybe Coach or maybe Rice Every Meal are tanky enough to kind of be able to go in there and lock down the Kindred. But even then, I mean, you have problems with actually having the damage output to put her down before she gets the Lamb's Respite up.
Yeah. And I want to talk about Zongi here for a little bit because he has been good in both games at playing from behind. There we saw Kindred going for a neutral objective, soloing it out, but that leaves Princeton as the Karma in the middle lane just kind of sitting there juicy for this Hecarim to take. And Zongi, makes a play off of that. Last game he was playing from behind as well, and I thought he did a really good job. So look for him to keep trying to make picks. And when somebody is fed in a game of League of Legends, you try not to fight around that person, right? So Darkside here does not want to fight around this Kindred. They don't want to group around her. They want to fight away from this, as we see something, the Renekton going into the top lane.
Yeah, just kind of slice and dice his way around the minion wave. And Stubby, I mean, he knows he's in danger. He knows that he cannot fight this Renekton at all. Anyway, whatsoever. I mean, he's got the early Seeker's Arm Guard to try and get a little bit of armor. It's actually kind of crazy I mean, Stubby hasn't even built tier 1 boots yet, and we're sitting at almost 20 minutes in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 minutes in the game, and you do not have tier 1 boots yet on the Kale. Just now picked up. Feels bad, man. Actually feels really, really bad. Rift Herald, though, going to get called down towards the bottom lane. Tier 2 in the bottom lane now down. And Omega Gaming Unleashed setting up a nice death brush here. Just completely denying a Darkside of any vision here on the map.
Yeah, and Alistar just using Headbutt there to say, no, Zongi, this charge gets to happen. You don't get a say in this at the moment. And I like what they did there, you know, just dipping in and out of vision. Omega Gaming Unleashed has been good in both games at playing around vision, and they're dipping out of the vision while the Rift Herald is pushing up, and then ensuring that it gets that last charge. But this game is, I want to say that this Kale is nowhere near where she needs to be in order to carry this game. We need to see something from Darkside that sets up, you know, a stall, that sets up some way, a bridge for this Kale to get to that late game. And we haven't seen it just yet. I like what the Hecarim is trying to do. We talk about Zongi playing good from behind, but Omega Gaming Unleashed just not giving any room for them to accomplish this whatsoever.
Yeah, they really, really aren't. And it is kind of a testimony to this Omega Gaming Unleashed squad. You know, currently they are, I believe, 1 point ahead of AoE Team God Squad. And so, you know, getting some wins here, especially getting the 2-0, if they can get it against Darkside, just really does kind of continue to set themselves up positively for seeding as we go further and further into the regular season. I do just want to keep this in mind, everyone, that this is... you know, this is the second to last week. So these teams, they will play after this game at least 3 more sets, a total of 6 games where they can earn a total of 9 points. And right now, with how it's shaking out, Omega Gaming Unleashed, with a win here, I do believe would lock in the playoff run for themselves.
Yeah, and this is what playoff League of Legends looks like. Omega Gaming, just like I said, not giving any room for Darkside to accomplish anything here. It looks like Kale just based and is now heading to match the Renekton yet again, but does have TP up. TPs are up for both Simulcrum and Stubby, who are on the bottom side of the map. So let's look for maybe there's going to be a Baron fight here.
Yeah, you know, honestly, what I want to see here, in order for Darkside to kind of take control back over this game, I want to see them try and consolidate their members. You know, they need to be checking the teleport on here on the Renekton. But with that being said, now Rice Every Meal gonna have to force his flash right on out there. Has to get away from this death ball that is the Omega Gaming Unleashed squadron. It just looks pretty doomed. You know, feels really, really bad. But you know, what I was gonna say is I want to see this squad regroup. Right, I want to see them get together, try and find themselves a man advantage, and continue to play carefully but methodically.
And you might get just that right now.
Yeah, that's going to come right on out there. Simulcrum, though, just way too quick. Going to be able to get himself out pretty easily as Baron gets started up and burned down by Omega Gaming Unleashed. They're going to be draped in purple. Easy Baron picked up. Simulcrum, you did your job in the mid lane. You're able to distract 5 members from Darkside and secure your team the Baron by extension.
Yeah, a good idea there by Darkside to do exactly what you were talking about. Try to group up, try to find a pick. With the Renekton shoving in and getting mid-prio there, they thought, oh, no way they could start the Baron. But you have a 6-1 Kindred. You know, you have 2-item Xayah as well. And that Baron, it doesn't live for very long against those champions.
Absolutely does not here. Trying to push in this top wave here, running the 4-1. But now Zongi going to be looking here for the mid lane there. Simulcrum going to get backed up and away. Going to get feared. He's going to go down here. Surely that's going to be the shutdown going into the hands of the Old Scratch. And it is a start here for Darkside. It may not be the war, but it is at least a battle. Now Zongi going to be ghosting in, trying to find adjustment here, but that is going to be a quick ultimate for the disengage. Going to get rooted up. Nice Gale Force actually there. Don't know if you saw that to be able to secure the root. Fallen Artemis though now in between 4 members. Shirley's going to go down. Yep, make that one wrapped up on ice. Put a bow on it and give the kill on over to Coaches. Fallen Artemis will go down.
Well, there's the way back into the game that Darkside have been looking for. Omega Gaming Unleashed. They send 2 people back to the fountain to buy, and the carries decide to stay, and they decide to make a play as well, which I don't really understand. Going back in for the kills, but the Kindred maybe just saying, you know what, I have enough gold to make this happen, and I'm going to flex on these people as we see a teleport coming in from the Renekton.
Yeah, teleport coming down here. Kindred gonna be up in about 10 seconds. I would like to see Darkside. This is your moment. This is your chance right now. Try to play aggressively while that Kindred is off the map. That does kind of put the gold lead, with that one member being down, maybe slightly in your favor, depending on how fed she is. In fact, it would put, it would put them about 2k gold ahead with Kindred being gone if they were able to force a 4v5 there. I really would have liked to have seen that, but obviously, they have gold to spend of their own, so they will go ahead and get these recalls off. And then we're just going to be back to it. So here in the mid lane, Omega Gaming Unleashed going to be able to take that one down nice, easy peasy. As the turrets continue to fall here on Summoner's Rift, the vision control and the vice grip, that is this Omega Gaming Unleashed squad, continues to kind of tighten down here on the Darkside vision.
Yeah, Omega Gaming doing Omega Gaming things, getting visioned and getting the mid prio, preparing for this Drake, and then just taking it, right? So here, your vision control and the way you play this game and the macro that you understand actually just earns you a free objective. Meanwhile, this Kayle is still trying to scale up, and the Hecarim is looking for camps to farm because they knew they couldn't walk into their jungle. At this point, Darkside's jungle is actually not their jungle. It belongs to Omega Gaming. It belongs to the 7-2 Kindred.
Yep, absolutely. But now here comes the engage. That's going to be an early ultimate here from Adjustment, trying to back himself away, but can get the damage onto the backline. Kayle, though, being able to free fire, is able to get 1, is able to pick up 2 now. That's going to be 2 kills going on over, but 2 kills traded right on back as Adjustment tries to bring parity back to the team fight. The sub has no ultimate available there with the Unbreakable Will. Can get knocked down fairly easily here. Coach kind of looking for that flank there. Does have himself the Frozen Tomb waiting, but smartly, Omega Gaming Unleashed going to be able to back away. Kayle was actually able to get a little bit of damage off in that fight. So, if they are able to continue maybe scaling this game up, being able to push this back, there is still hope out there for this Darkside composition.
There's always those fights in a game where you're waiting for one of your hyper carries to scale where it kind of goes your way just a little bit. And I think that right now, Omega Gaming should be thinking, we can't really let this Kayle go for too much longer. And Darkside should be getting a little bit more confident. I hope they don't get too confident and just run it down, but we'll see exactly what happens. But yeah, they should be confident that as these items keep coming through, as the gold keeps filtering into the Kai'Sa and to the Kayle, that they'll be able to get a lot of damage off in these fights, especially if the Hecarim keeps hitting good ultimates like the one we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely. And another point that I do want to actually make here is the earliest that we can have a Dragon Soul here in this game, that is assuming if the dragon just instantly died on spawn, is sitting at 35.5 minutes. Realistically, depending on if there is a Dragon Dance that occurs while fighting for that objective, we could be looking at 30 seconds per Drake that could be added onto that. So, maybe at the latest, we could be seeing Infernal Soul coming up into this game at 36 minutes or 36.5 minutes into this game, which by that point, you're looking at pretty much what would be close to a max level Kayle, which could be an issue. Definitely level 16, definitely with some items online. And at that point, you really do have to start scratching your head and wondering, okay, how much longer are we going to let this game go on, just as you illustrate?
Yeah, and I wonder if Omega Gaming is thinking that right now to themselves, like, oh goodness, our initial strategy was to play for these Drakes, but you see them walking toward the top side of the map here, maybe going to, yep, here they come. They start shifting their vision to that top side, getting ready for the Baron, and maybe their play is just to try and take this objective, take the Nash, use it to push lanes. They were so successful on it in the first time they had it.
If we could have the producer actually toggle vision real quick, so we can see just what the blue team can see. I just want to illustrate how powerful this vision control is that the side of Omega Gaming Unleashed has actually been able to get for themselves. I don't know if that is something that our producer is able to do, maybe not. But, you could take a look and see it. Zongi, oh my goodness, going to be so fast there with the Chem Tank, but going to be quite a bit of a tanky boy. The Dominus is going to get popped there. Going to be able to keep himself alive, and once again, Simulacrum going to be the bait that calls for the Baron, and that's actually going to be the second Baron here taken up by Omega Gaming Unleashed. So if you've got that on your bingo card, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and mark it on down. But that's going to be purple one more time. Picked up here for Omega Gaming Unleashed. And yeah, well, they should be able to continue to push this one out. I mean, I kind of want to see them go ahead and move it on over into the 4-1. With Simulcrum being as tanky and kind of elusive as he is with this Renekton pick, does provide him a little bit of safety, and you can kind of take that core squad that you've got yourself with that AD composition to kind of take down and siege these towers with.
Yeah, 2 members showing up bottom lane. It means a free Baron for Omega Gaming Unleashed. And I like what they're doing. They're assigning the 4-1, just like you said. They know that the Renekton has no flash as the pings start coming down onto him. I think Zongi wants to go here with the support of Stubby. Nope, doesn't look like they go for it. It looks like the push is too fast with Kindred and Xayah here pushing in the middle lane. Now the Hecarim, is he backing? Is he not backing? What are you doing?
He could be holding on for the Infernal maybe, but nope, gonna be speeding his way back on down here towards the bottom side of the map. He's gonna find himself into 3 Omega Gaming Unleashed members, and he's gonna find the other 2 alongside the wall there. Kindred gonna be able to kite him out, take him on down. Adjustment will pick up the kill, and Baron buff is still active. Another inhibitor now in some trouble, in some danger. Fallen Artemis able to get a few more autos down on it, and Simulcrum does have the TP available. If he does decide to use it here, then maybe we have a little bit better of an idea of what the intentions here are of this Omega Gaming squad. Possibly could end this game. Yep, teleport now going to come on out, and Zongi still 25 seconds here on the recall and the respawn. Excuse me. That's going to be the Barrett's going on down, and oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it's over before I can even get the words out, before the fight even starts.
Wow.
Just going straight for the Nexus. Boom, boom, ladies and gentlemen. Easy 2-0 sweep here for Omega Gaming Unleashed in set 1 of Week 8.
That was insane idea. Just ending the game on a moment's notice. One little mistake from Zongi, even though he's playing well, had a really hard time deciding what was going to happen there at the end. And oh my goodness, were they punished.
Absolutely, but with that being said, we are going to throw it on over to the analyst desks as we get ready to gear up for an interview here with Adjustment. We want to talk about that Penta in game number 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mac, Dewey, and Gungeon, take it away.